You think the fight begins when you step onto the mat. No, the real battle starts long before that, inside your mind. Before I ever threw a punch, before I ever landed a kick, I had already won or lost in my head. The moment doubt crept in, the battle was over. That is why I trained my mind as fiercely as I trained my body. I honed it like a blade, cutting away hesitation, sharpening it until it became stronger than fear, stronger than pain, stronger than failure. I was never the biggest, never the strongest. I didn't have the luxury of brute force. But true strength is not found in muscle alone. It is found in the mind. A weak mind will break before the body ever does. So I made my mind unbreakable. When my body wanted to stop, my mind pushed forward. When pain screamed at me to quit, my mind silenced it. I watched men lose before they even stepped into battle, not because they lacked skill, not because they weren't prepared, but because they allowed doubt to take root. They hesitated, they questioned themselves, they feared failure, and in that hesitation, they lost before the first punch was even thrown. But not me. I made a decision, one that I lived by every single day. I would never quit. No second thoughts, no hesitation. When I faced obstacles, I didn't ask, can I overcome this? I told myself, I will overcome this. There was no other option. That is what separates those who succeed from those who don't. It's not talent, it's not luck, it's the decision to keep going, no matter what, not tomorrow, not next week, right now. You either commit or you don't. You either decide to be unstoppable or you allow yourself to be defeated. Because the truth is, most people quit long before they ever truly fail. They step back when fear whispers in their ear. They look for excuses instead of pushing forward. But the ones who refuse to quit, they are the ones who become great. So, ask yourself right now, have you already lost in your mind? Or have you made the decision to keep going, no matter what? There was a moment when I was forced to lie still, helpless. The doctors said I might never kick again. I laughed. Pain is something every warrior must face. It does not ask for permission. It does not wait for you to be ready. One day, I was at my peak, stronger, faster, more skilled than ever. The next, I was lying in bed, unable to move. I injured my back in 1970 while lifting weights. A mistake, a miscalculation, and suddenly, everything I had worked for seemed to slip away. The pain was unbearable. I could barely stand, let alone train. Then the doctors came in, looked me in the eye, and spoke the words no fighter ever wants to hear. Bruce, you might never kick again. Can you imagine what that feels like? To hear that the thing that defines you, the thing you have dedicated your life to, might be taken away forever. To be told that your body has limits, that you must accept weakness. Most people would have given in. They would have taken those words as truth. Let fear take over. Let doubt sink in. Let pain control them. But I refused. I lay there, staring at the ceiling for hours, alone with my thoughts. And I asked myself, who decides my limits? The doctors, the injury, the pain? No, none of them. I decide. I refuse to accept their words as my fate. If my body was broken, I would rebuild it. If I couldn't move, I would train my mind. If I couldn't kick, I would find another way. But one thing was certain, I was not done, not even close. Most people think strength is found in the body, but true strength, it lives in the mind. And while my body was healing, my mind was already preparing for battle. I wasn't resting, I was training. I read, I wrote, I planned, I visualized. I saw every kick. I saw every kick, every movement, every strike in my head so clearly that when I finally got up, it was like I had never stopped. And when the time came, I didn't just recover, I came back stronger, because pain is not the end. And setbacks are not defeat. The only way you truly lose is if you accept it. The injury could have broken me. The words of the doctors could have become my reality. But I made a choice. I would not let pain define me. I would not let fear stop me. People will tell you that you can't, that you're done, that your time is over. And when they do, you have two choices. You can believe them, or you can prove them wrong. I chose to prove them wrong, and so can you. People watched my movements and called me fast. No, I was not fast. I was in control of time. They always asked, "Bruce, how are you so fast?" They thought it was magic, some natural gift that allowed me to move before my opponent could even react. But the truth is, speed is not just about movement. It's not just about training your body to be quick. It's about training your mind to be ahead. Speed is an illusion. It's not about reacting faster than your opponent. It's about never needing to react at all. It's about knowing what will happen before it happens. Most fighters wait, they hesitate, they see an opening, and then decide to strike. But by the time they make that decision, it's already too late. They are thinking when they should be moving. I trained my mind to remove hesitation. There was no delay, no second thought, no doubt. The moment I saw an opportunity, I was already moving. My body followed my mind, without resistance, without question. That is true speed. But how do you reach that level? How do you train your mind to eliminate hesitation? First, understand this. Your thoughts slow you down. The more you think, the slower you become. Most people hesitate because they are afraid of making a mistake. They analyze, they calculate, they question their own actions. And in that moment of hesitation, they lose. I removed that hesitation by training one move 10,000 times until it became part of me, until my body no longer needed to ask my mind for permission. It simply acted. I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times. This is the secret. It's not about knowing more techniques. It's not about having more options. It's about mastering the fundamentals until they are as natural as breathing. And when you reach that point, you are unstoppable. When I was young, I would spend hours striking the air, punching water, kicking in slow motion, not just for strength, but for perfection. I watched animals move, the way a snake slithered, the way a tiger struck. They did not think. They did not hesitate. They simply acted, and that is what I wanted to achieve. But mastery is not just about movement, it's about time itself. Most people see time as an enemy. They rush, they react, they feel pressure to move faster than their opponent, but I never tried to keep up with time. I controlled it. I trained myself to slow my perception of the world. I would watch a punch coming toward me, not with panic, but with clarity. I saw everything. The shift in my opponent's shoulders, the flicker in their eyes, the weight transferring in their stance. In that moment, time slowed. This is not a gift. It is not something you are born with. It is something you develop through endless repetition, through sharpening awareness, through trusting your instincts. Most people chase speed, but speed is not something you chase. It is something that comes when you stop hesitating, when you stop fearing, when you train yourself to move without thought. The next time you want to be faster, don't just train your body, train your mind. Remove hesitation, master the basics, and control time instead of letting it control you. Because the fastest person is not the one who moves first. It's the one who moves at the right moment, without a single wasted thought. But do you know the greatest enemy I ever faced? It wasn't a man. It wasn't an opponent in the ring. It wasn't someone stronger or faster than me. It was something far more dangerous. My own emotions. People think the strongest fighters are the ones who hit the hardest, who move the fastest, who train the longest. But I have seen the greatest warriors crumble, not because they lacked skill, not because they lacked strength, but because they let their emotions take control. I have seen anger destroy warriors. I have seen fear make a man freeze in front of his opponent. I have seen doubt weaken even the strongest body. Most people believe emotions are uncontrollable. They think anger comes, and they must obey it. They think fear rises, and they must surrender to it. But I never allowed my emotions to control me. I controlled them. Because in a fight, the moment you lose control of your emotions, you have already lost. Think about it. When a man fights with anger, what happens? He swings wildly. He loses focus. His movements become reckless, predictable, easy to counter. He is not fighting with skill, but with rage. And rage is a blindfold. It makes you miss the details, the openings, the precision required to win. Fear is just as dangerous. Fear makes you hesitate. Fear makes you slow. Fear makes you overthink until the opportunity is gone. I have watched fighters step into the ring full of doubt. Their bodies were strong, their techniques were sharp, but in their minds they were already defeated, and so they lost. I trained myself differently. I did not fight against emotion. I learned to use it. When anger rose within me, I did not let it take over. I focused it, sharpened it into determination, into precision. My emotions did not control me. I controlled them. When fear crept into my mind, I welcomed it. I let it sharpen my senses, heighten my awareness, but I never let it stop me. When frustration came, I did not let it break my focus. I let it push me harder, drive me further. This is the difference between an ordinary fighter and a true warrior. An ordinary fighter lets emotions dictate his actions. A true warrior dictates his emotions. But mastering emotions is not just about fighting, it is about life. How many people ruin opportunities because they let anger control them? How many give up on their dreams because fear tells them they will fail? How many let frustration break them instead of using it to make them stronger? The greatest battle is not against another person. It is not against the world. The greatest battle is within yourself. And if you cannot master yourself, you will never master anything else. So when you feel anger, do not let it blind you. When you feel fear, do not let it paralyze you. When you feel doubt, do not let it defeat you. Because the strongest person is not the one who fights with brute force. The strongest person is the one who fights with complete control. Master your emotions, and you will master your destiny. People said, "Bruce, you're at the peak of your abilities." I said, "There is no peak, only more to climb." Most people live inside a cage. They do not see the bars, but they are there, built from the limits they have accepted, limits set by a society, limits set by others, but worst of all, limits set by themselves. I never accepted limits. I never saw a wall that could not be broken, a barrier that could not be overcome, and because I believed that, I proved it true. The biggest lie we tell ourselves is, "I have reached my limit." No, you have not. You have only reached the edge of what you think is possible. There is always more. I did not wake up one day able to move like lightning. I did not start as a master. I built myself step by step, day by day, never accepting that I had reached the top, because the moment you think you are done growing is the moment you start dying. I watched people train hard, push themselves, reach a certain level, and then stop. They told themselves, "This is enough." Enough for who? Enough for what? To be comfortable, to impress others, to fit inside the world's expectations. That was not enough for me. I did not train to be good. I trained to be limitless. Limits are not real. They are beliefs, and beliefs can be changed. I remember the first time I tried to do a 1-inch punch. The power wasn't there. My hand moved, but the impact was weak. Someone else might have said, "This is impossible," but I did not stop. I trained my mind to remove the idea of distance. I studied every movement, every inch of my body, every ounce of energy, and eventually, I generated power in a way most people could not understand. But here is the truth. It was never impossible. It was only impossible until I figured out how to do it. Most people stop before they ever reach their true potential. They hit a challenge and say, "I can't do this." I say, "How can I do this?" They struggle and say, "Maybe this isn't for me." I say, "This is just part of the process." The mind will try to convince you to stop. It will whisper that you are tired, that you are not good enough, that you should accept where you are. I never listened to that voice. I replaced it with my own, because in the end, the world will try to tell you who you are. Your job is to refuse. You do not need permission to be great. You do not need approval. The only thing you need is the courage to step into the unknown, to risk failure, to push forward even when no one believes in you. So I ask you, who will you become? Will you accept limits, or will you destroy them? Because your life is not defined by what others say about you. It is defined by what you decide to become.